My name is Mike Alonso. I am a Principal Solutions Engineer with BMC Software. I've been around the company for about 16 years now, and I cover many different solutions, but one of which is the BMC Discovery suite of tools. So what we wanted to do today is talk from an overview perspective, what is BMC Discovery version 11? We do have a new release that came out about a month ago, which is version 11. We're real proud of it. So we wanted to let you know what the BMC Discovery tool can do for you, as well as what some of those new features are, and really how that plays into DCOI compliance. So what is DCOI? So it's part of the Data Center Optimization Initiative, or the Data Center Consolidation Planning. So how does that apply to a discovery tool? So if you want to read this here, I'm not going to read it word for word for you, but in a nutshell, what it says is that the people that control the finances, that have the money for you to do any of your projects, now require that you have an automated discovery solution in your data center to provide them the appropriate level of visibility about the data center, what's in it, and what you have running, so they can make those decisions of where the finances should be spent. So basically what they're saying is, if you come to ask for money, we're going to ask you some questions, and we want to be able to see this information through an automated discovery tool. We are no longer going to accept manual type discovery, Excel spreadsheets, or inventories that were done by hand. And they're mandating that this be done and completed by the end of fiscal year 2018. So we have a little bit of runway now, but we need to get moving on it. When we provide this presentation out, you can see the link right there. If you just do a Google search on DCOI, it'll come up with a couple hundred links for you, but that's the primary one that covers the full breadth of what DCOI covers. But today, in particular, we're going to talk about how that applies to our BMC Discovery tool. So, what is BMC Discovery? BMC Discovery is an agentless discovery tool that goes out within your environment and goes out and finds all the different components about your network. Now, that includes servers, mainframes, network, software, storage, load balancers, all different types of components. It's not just an asset management tool, as you're going to see here in a few minutes. While we do go get all the asset information, we are also looking at communication paths. We're doing mappings and all kinds of fun things. So a few fun facts here in the orange boxes. So BMC Discovery, we have over 1,000 relationship types. We have 100-plus middleware technologies, 15 DevOps technologies, all built into one single solution. The middle box is something that we're really proud of. We have over 40,000 software versions and 3,000 network devices and 20 storage brands that we go out and discover. So let me put that number in a little bit of context for you. That 40,000 software versions, our next closest competitor has in the neighborhood of 15 to 20,000. So we're about double what most of the industry has today. And that basically allows us to go through and do a very deep and comprehensive discovery of what's in your environment. And then also, we can automatically go out and discover and map your applications. And this says in 15 minutes, and I really think that's being gracious. I'm going to do a live demonstration here in a few minutes, and you're going to see that we can do that much quicker than 15 minutes as well. But a little bit of evolution, just in case any of you out there have ever used BMC Discovery before, or its other name, which is ADDM, Application or Atrium Discovery and Dependency Mapping. Same tool. We just did a name change with version 11 over to BMC Discovery. Now, in the prior versions of ADDM and our mapping technologies, it may have taken you, let's just go back to, say, version 7, version 8, a couple weeks to map out an application. And you did need to know a little bit of scripting to be able to successfully accomplish that task. Then we went to version 9, version 10, and the introduction of CAM, our Collaborative Application Mapping Utility, which took that 2-week process down to about a 2-day process. Really improved things. It gave us a GUI to help create some of those scripts on the back end, things like that. But to BMC, still not good enough. We wanted to further improve on that 2 days. Now we're down to 15 minutes or less. If you can draw a circle with a mouse, you can map an application. So we're really proud of that technology today. So as I mentioned earlier, we go out and find the dependencies across all of the network, from the facility to the physical, logical, your virtualization, your applications, and tie it all into your services. And then as we put it into a CMDB, we can tie business services together with that information. And that will allow us to go through and show services that we provide to our end customers, whether those are internal customers or external customers. We're all providing some form of service. And we want to be able to gather that information and present that information to the customer for use in maybe monitoring tools, or maybe it's from an asset management perspective, or maybe from a disaster recovery perspective. We still need to know how everything's connected to appropriate data center planning. And we'll talk about who this applies to in just a few minutes. So why does this matter? Who does it apply to? In a nutshell, everyone. Everyone in any industry, not just the federal government. Personally, I cover, for the most part, our federal government and our Department of Defense, but everybody has a need for discovery. And within an organization, we have service management teams. Why do they need this discovery? They need to know what's out there. When they get a service ticket, they need to know everything about the device that may be having an issue. They get that through a discovery tool. Operations management. When they need to bring a system down, how do we know what's connected to it? What do we know? What's going to be the effect of this system going down to the services that I deliver to my customer? Or if I'm having a problem, what's connected to this system? What other issues may be popping up because I'm having a problem? Understanding how everything's connected in an environment is critical. And that goes into enterprise architecture. And I've been into a number of facilities that say, I am architected like this, and they show me a picture. And then we do an automatic discovery, and I say, no, you're architected like this, and I show them my picture. We get into a discussion about it, and then we just go stand up and we walk into the data center and we start tracing things down. And 9.99999 times out of 10, the automated discovery solution is correct. So understanding what that architecture is critical, especially when you get into that security operations. So how does discovery help security operations? You can't defend what you don't know you have. You can't defend if you don't know how things are communicating on your network. So understanding what's out there, how it's communicating, and how it's connected is critical for those security operations teams. And last but not least, we don't want to leave out the application management teams. They architect their applications in specific ways. They need to make sure that those applications are brought into production as designed and are functioning properly and connected properly. And then when they need to make a change, they also need to understand what impact to the environment for that change is going to make within their application. Again, all these things can be provided by doing a simple agentless discovery across your entire network. So let's get into a little bit of how we do it. So from a technical perspective, excuse me, I'm not going to dive in too deep here because we're going to be going into a live demo. But one of the key things we have here is what we call now Start Anywhere application mapping. And with Start Anywhere application mapping, all you need to know is one little piece about that application. A server name or a network device name or a application name, something to give the system a place to start looking for data. And then from there, we can build out the map automatically. We're going to be doing a live demonstration of this coming up very shortly. We're going to map out two different networks, one easy one and one that's a little more challenging, just to show you even the more challenging application is very easy to accomplish these days. But being able to do that Start Anywhere application mapping without having to go out and do any type of scripting or building any type of models by hand is critical and something that we can now do out of the box today. We go out there and we can discover 3,500 plus data center assets and asset types for the discovery. So again, this is everything that's out there from networking equipment to your servers, your virtualization, applications, even patches and packages and things like that that are out on that network. And we'll drill down into what these look like when we get into the live demonstration and give you some examples of what devices look like within BMC Discovery. The other thing that we're really proud of with this tool is what we call 3 clicks to insight. What our development team has done is spent painstaking time to create a UI that ensures you're no more than about 3 clicks from any piece of data within the application. Now you'll see in the live demo, I can get to the same piece of data 15 different ways. That's by design because, again, No matter where you're at in the tool, we don't want you to be more than 3 clicks away from any piece of information that you need. So it is a very clean, modern user interface that is very easy and simple to use. Now, some additional features that I want to talk about real quick. We talked about it's agentless, it's lightweight, and scalable. So let's talk about scalability real quick. We can scale extremely large. I'm actually in talks with a government agency right now that could potentially have us discover more than 5 million devices. So we have the ability to scale to public Class A type status. Is that easy? Takes some very good architecture, but we can do it. For most implementations, it's a very easy, very simple deployment. And why I say it's a simple deployment, there's nothing to install. BMC Discovery ships as a virtual appliance. So you download the virtual appliance, you import it into your virtualization infrastructure, you do the standard, give it a host name, give it an IP address, give it your DNS information, and fire it up, and you are up and running. Now, I know this is a mixed audience, but if there's any of you from the Department of Defense out there, we have a stigging script built into the application. So after the application's up and running, you can actually execute this script, and it's going to do a large chunk of the stigging tasks for you, so you don't have to do that from a manual operation perspective. So very easy, and that takes us into our secure side. We have TLS encryption. We're using, the DISA stigs to secure the application. We are a very secure appliance that is run in the most secure environments that you can think of. The other thing where it says seamless integration into the CMDB. If you are a BMC customer, which I really am hoping you are, and you're running the ITSM suite, this has a seamless integration into the BMC Configuration Management Database, or CMDB. Basically, all you have to do is point this at that CMDB, and you create a simple data set in the CMDB, and it will start moving its data over. And then from there, you can do any type of reconciliation rules that you want against that data, and then promote that data into your production data sets. Very easy and very simple to do. If you're not using the BMC CMDB, guess what? The CMDB comes with BMC Discovery. So that's something you'll be entitled to as a customer of BMC Discovery. Now, from an add-ons perspective, we've got a couple add-ons. So we have the software end-of-license and hardware consumption data pack. I'll show you some of this, but what that is basically software vendors provide BMC with data about when they're going to end-of-life applications. We get the end-of-life date, the end-of-support date, and end-of-extended support date. Nice thing about with data center operations, I can run a report and say, show me every piece of software in my data center that's going to be end-of-support. The end of support is going to come up within the next 6 months. I now have a list of things that I need to get an action plan in place to upgrade or remove from my data center before that date happens. So being able to run reports like that is really key. And then hardware consumption data pack, same thing from the hardware vendors. We get information about different types of hardware and how much power they use, how much heat they put out, how much cooling is required, all that kind of fun stuff, and we can get you that type of information. The other thing is storage discovery. We have the ability to go through and do deep dive storage discoveries. Not just telling you there's a storage device sitting right there, but we can actually go inside the storage device and get you all the deep details about that device itself. So those are just some of the add-ons within the toolset itself. We'll be looking at this in the live demo.